Hi guys, Harry here from the Art Gear Guide. Thanks very much for joining me today. Well, as you can see here, I have a review here of the Faber Castell. I think they're just called a Classic, but I'll explain a little bit more about this in a second. So basically, Faber Castell. If anybody out there loves color pencils, they know that the Faber Castell Polychromos pencils are probably, arguably, one of the best pencils about for fine art color pencil artists. But Faber Castell do other ranges, do other lines. They do kind of like, so anything that's kind of polychromos based, like uh, the polychromos and the Albert Dürer pencils and stuff like that. Those really high end artist grade pencils are in green tins. Then they have kind of like their student based line, and they tend to come in blue tins, like the Aqua Art Grip pencils and that type of thing. And then they have what Faber Castell categorizes their kids line, and they tend to come in these red packets. Now, I seen somebody leave a couple of comments about my channel not that long ago, and I actually really liked the comment that this person had left. They had said that one of the things that they really loved about coming across to the Art Gear Guide was that the reviews weren't just all high end products that were being reviewed. That it was a wide variety of products, for so really cheap products to really high end products. And that's basically what I'm trying to aim to do here on the Art Gear Guide, is to eventually have a catalogue of every type of colour pencil that's out there, be they good, bad, indifferent, whatever. Uh, whether they're light, fast, open stock, whether they're available in this country or not, whatever. Just so that the Art Gear Guide has the a really, really large selection of art supplies that you can go across, take a look at, and decide for yourself which ones you want to get. And so it's important for me to make sure that I'm covering all the different pencils that are out there, or markers, or whatever it is that I'm doing, and not just the high end markers. A lot of people say to me, if the pencil isn't open stock and it's not highly light fast, what's the point in doing the review? And as I've said before, the point is, not everybody wants to have, or not everybody is going to be doing commissioned artwork or anything like that. There are people out there that are just doing this for fun, and all they are after is a good pencil that's going to give them good color base and allow them to do what they love to do. On the other hand, there are artists out there that are looking for really highly light fast pencils, so that they are going to be able to provide the very best work for their clients, whatever that may be, and hopefully I'm being able to cater for those guys as well. So anyway, on with this review. So this is, as you can see, it's a red packet. This is a kids line, and I said that kind of like in quotations, I suppose, as if you like, that Faber Castell class them as kids pencils. When I opened them and started using them, I was expecting very, very dull pigment, that type of thing. Ordinarily, what you would associate with a kid's pencil, but it's absolutely not. And in true Faber Castell style, these pencils are definitely, a lot of pencils out there that claim to be student grade. I would put these pencils here in definitely student grade as well. So let's first of all, they come in this little box set, but I think, in fact, I'm almost positive that you can also get them in tins. But the reason why I purchased this particular set was because of this, and I'll show you. Now, the box is a little bit beaten up, so you'll have to excuse me. Um, so bearing in mind that when they're making these, they have kids in mind. So this comes out in kind of like a concertina effect. Let me move that box over. But then the pencils can stand up like this, and they can be on display just as they are, and then you can just select the pencils that you want, because they're in these kind of like little cardboard sleeves. And I think that's fantastic, because most kids, when they're sat down at a desk or something like that, they will just tip out the pencils and select them and stuff like that. This way, it keeps them safe, but the pencils can, be selected and put back really, really easy. Um, it's not difficult to lift them out or anything like that. They're really, really easy to lift out and put back in. But obviously, you know, I don't want to do this review and just keep referring to what kids do and what kids don't do, because these pencils, as you will see in this review, I don't really think that they're just kids-based pencils. In fact, actually, there's a really good manga artist on YouTube. I'm going to butcher her name now, but I think she's a Spanish artist, and I think her name is Myra Rodriguez. I'll put a link down to her channel in any case, but she does absolutely phenomenal manga art, and she uses these pencils. And so that brings me on to the other point, that if you are kind of like a marker artist and you love mixed media, these pencils also lay on top of marker really, really well. So let's take a look at the pencils themselves, and then we'll get on to showing you how they perform. Now, I have done some artwork using these pencils, and I know I'm going to contradict myself here, because I said, I'm not going to keep referring to them as kids-based pencils, but the drawing that I did do was kind of kids-based. It's just a character from Finding Nemo. You can see here, it was just something quick I wanted to do just to demonstrate these pencils, and I have a speed drawing of it as well. So, as you can see here, the barrels themselves are quite lightweight and thin. It's actually a 7mm barrel and a 3mm core, and it's a hexagonal barrel. So a lot of artists prefer hexagonal barrels so that they're not rolling about on their desk or anything like that. Again, if you've got kids tipping out pencils and stuff like that onto the desk, this is going to be great. So information down the side of the barrel here, you can see here it just says Classic Colour, and then Faber Castell. Classic Colour obviously being the type of pencil these are. And then there's a number here, 363, which corresponds to the pigment. And then you have this little spot on the barrel where you can obviously write your child's name. Obviously, with them being kids-based pencils, with Faber Castell aiming them at children, you're going to want to put your kids' names on them if they're taking them to school or anything like that. And that's where you're going to be able to do that. Right, so that's it really. Now, there's nothing on the barrel with regards to the actual pigment color or anything to do with light fast. There's no light fast ratings with these pencils, so they're not, like I said, they're aimed for children, so they're not high-end artist grade pencils in terms of light fast and stuff like that. But when you see the performance of the pencils in terms of the pigment and the level of pigments in them and how they blend and stuff like that, you will understand what I'm referring to when I say that they're not just aimed for children. Okay, so as you can see here, as with all the pencils I review, I always do a top layer of one light layer. The middle row has always got 5 light layers, and then the bottom one has 1 heavy application. So the reason why I do 5 light layers is because when color pencil artists use odorless mineral spirits, they normally do lay down about 5 or 6 layers before they start using odorless mineral spirits, and then come back and layer on top of that again. So you can see the difference in, obviously, the level of pigment. When you get down to here to the 5 layers, there was no problems whatsoever in layering with these pencils. There was no like wax bloom or anything like that. They are a wax-based pencil, by the way, but there was no wax bloom or there was no crumbling or anything like that. These are really, really well-made pencils. Then if you come down to here to this heavy application, you can see that it's absolutely... The pigment levels in these pencils are fantastic. Now, I've used some kids' pencils, or so-called kids' pencils, and they are just useless because the pigment level in them is virtually non-existent. And they are the very reason, in my opinion, that so many children kind of like shy away from art, because when they're given these really cheap, horrible pencils when they're children, to use in colouring books. They can't get a result from them, and so because they can't see any result, they put them down and walk away. Kids want to see results. They want to see things happen fast. And with some of these really cheap pencils aimed at children, they just can't do that. But with these, the pigment is just fantastic. As next, I have some dry blending testing. Okay, there you go. So you can see there that it's this red and yellow together has dry blended, has given this lovely orange. And then with the yellow and the blue here, it's given me this green. I'll just move down here. You can see here as well that the black is really nice, deep black as well. And these are, like I say, these are the heavy applications. So you'll be able to see that the paper, the tooth of the paper is indented in there. It's damaged. It's virtually non-existent now. I'm just going to zoom back out. And that's really it. I have used odorless mineral spirits on these pencils. They didn't work fantastic, but it did work. I think there's an ingredient inside these pencils to prevent them from shattering and stuff like that. A lot of pencils, student grade pencils, have this type of thing. It's kind of like an anti-break ingredient in them. I think sometimes with pencils that have that built into them, for some reason, I've found that it doesn't seem to react very well to odorless mineral spirits, and I'm not sure why. So, as always, I'm going to do some testing here on black paper. Okay, so ordinarily, whenever I'm doing these tests on black paper, I just keep it down to about 4 or 5 pencils. But this time, in this particular set, Faber Castell have a range of 5 different metallic pencils. And if you've been watching my videos for a while now, you'll know that I don't really like metallic, so-called metallic-based pencils. You normally tend to find a gold and a silver, sometimes a bronze in sets nowadays. But for the most part, they don't look metallic at all. But with this set, certainly with the gold and the silver, they actually look metallic. And so I was really surprised and really, pleased with the way the colours turned out here. But let me lay down the colours here, and you'll see for yourself. So this one is the gold. Obviously, you can hear there that I'm just doing heavy applications. I'm not trying to layer here or anything clever like that. So that's the gold. Then I've got a silver. Sorry, it's focusing in and out there. Sorry about this, guys. Let me try and zoom in a bit for you. This is a metallic blue. I will lift this paper up so that you can see, because obviously the light is shining off it a little bit. Then there's a metallic green. I know the camera's not picking this up, but I can see kind of like, it looks like glitter in this, but it's not. It's just the way the metallic type sheens off it. And then there's a metallic purple. So let me just try and get this where you can see it better. You can see it shining there. I mean, the camera isn't doing a very good job of picking these particular metallic colors up, but they are really, really nice. They're probably some of the best metallic type pencils that I've personally tried. And then obviously we have the white pencil here. And again, this is a really opaque pencil. And, don't forget, we're talking about a pencil here that is aimed at children, which is a really good thing, because like I was saying earlier on, I think children should be given decent pencils whenever they're starting out. Otherwise, they're just going to completely, I don't know, just give up. Now I'm just going to lay down some ordinary primary colours here. So I've just got a red. That one, there's a little bit of opacity to that one. And to that one, it's not very opaque, that one. This is kind of like a sky blue. You can see there, that's very opaque. It's a nice colour, that. And you can see there's a bit of crumbling, but I'm in a really awkward position here because of the camera and the microphone. There you go, and that's kind of like an apple green. So the top row is the metallic colours, and then down at the bottom here, we've just got like this apple green, sky blue, this yellow, and a red, and this is the white pencil. And I think you can see yourself here that these colours, these pigments are fantastic. And for me personally, Faber Castell may market these as children's pencils, but in my opinion, that is just testament to how good Faber Castell is and how good their products are, because these pencils would compete with the vast majority of student-based pencils that are out there on the market at the minute. And probably, actually, I'm talking about Faber Castell's own student-grade pencils, because these, the pigment levels in these pencils are fantastic. The anti-break system that they have in them is obviously for children. I was just really, really pleased with the performance, the overall performance of these pencils, full stop. Okay, so just to round things up, this 60 set is the largest set they do, but like I said, they do come in tins as well. If you go over to the Art Gear Guide, I will have a list of all the different sets that are available and whether they come in this type of package, like this cardboard box that turns into like a stand as well, or just tins or whatever. But I'll have all that listed over on the Art Gear Guide, and I'll have the pricing listed over there as always as well. But just for the sake of this video, please understand that the reason why I put the prices over on the Art Gear Guide is because I can amend those at a later date if the company changed their pricing and stuff like that. I don't mention the pricing on the video because I can't amend the video, but I'm going to on this one occasion, because I think that the cost of these is phenomenal. So for this 60 set, now bearing in mind this is at the time of recording this video, okay? So we're in April 2018. So for this 60 set of Faber Castell Classic Colour pencils, it was £13.50. Now, I don't think for £15 picking up 60 pencils that are as good as these pencils are, I think that's a fantastic buy. And certainly if you're going to be giving them to young children with colouring books or whatever, or just to do art with, if you give a young child who's art-minded a set of pencils like this, they're going to love them, and they're not going to try to do something with them, try to create something, see that there's no pigment coming out of them and just put them down and walk off. I don't think that's going to happen with these pencils. And I think that's very important. I've spoke about this before, about kids and stuff like that, getting into art. And one of the reasons that a lot of children don't get into art is because their parents, and I'm guilty of this myself, I've done it myself with my own children, before I understood the value of art. I purchased like stocking fillers at Christmas time for all of them, and they would be these really, really big sets of pencils and paints and all the rest of it, and they would cost like £10 or something like that, and you would get all this equipment in it and what have you. And every single Christmas, they all went straight in the bin, purely and simply because there was no pigment from any of the paints or the pencils or the markers that were in there, and the kids just couldn't be bothered using them. They couldn't get anything from them, and as a result, like I say, they just ended up in the bin, and the kids weren't interested in them. Whereas if you give children a set like this, they're going to love it, and they're going to create, and their mind is going to run wild, and hopefully, I'm not saying that they're going to turn into artists, but they'll certainly enjoy what they're doing, which is obviously something that you want kids to do. That you want them to enjoy their life. So anyway, guys, that is it. You've seen there that I done a little bit of testing on some ordinary white paper, and I also done some testing on some black paper. I've also got a speed drawing of the Finding Nemo character Dory. You can go across, I'll have a link for that down below. You can go across and see that. It's just a quick video, just demonstrating how these pencils work together, how they blend and layer, that type of thing. You can see the image now, but if you want to go across and see me actually draw it, the link will be down below. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I look forward to seeing you all again in the next review. Thanks. Bye.